Welcome to Vistia.
YouTube smells like a brothel, doesn't it? A lot of brothelry. And that taints the material. The muse isn't going to speak to you, baby. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm bringing the best for you. I can't wait for the tube of the you to accept. What is the theme tonight?
Get money, money, money. Motherfucker, talk. Don't you know the factors?
Spent hours.
It must be.
I just wanted to skip all of this because of the copyright and just in case for any other reasons. But you have to get the perch first. So first we're gonna start with the intro, and we're gonna begin with the rest of the video. Thank you guys. Today I wanted to watch this quick session to get a quick start. Let's begin with our intro. Here we go. As always, thank you Ammon Hillman for delivering this, and thank you Teddy Bass for this dope music. Thank you for giving us the dope. Let's go, guys. Here we go with some Teddy Bass.
Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Big fat Jimmy with the 2 sticks. I'm with the cannabis fumigation company. Get the leaf blower. The girls know I'm Tony Corona, aka Peter Pandemic, with the needle craft Medea Pharmakia. Something in the air tonight, salvation in the water of life. Purple juice smoothie, it's going down. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh, pass it around. Snake venom in the potion pure, pure uncut scorpion venom. Uncut, turn your volume up to 11, to the hill of terror. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Blackwater Hockaday, sending them to the big mother in the sky. On a trailhead full of zombified, rhymes get spit like venomous snakes, secrete poison out of their fangs. I'm with the crew, dancing to the bank. Vampires like blood and cook poisonous fangs. Today's organized religions are offspring of late Bronze Age Satanism. Vincent Pricino with the hot purple cape on. Magic carpet flying with the silver and gold rings. Briefcase full of amethysts, driving in the fast lane. Hail Satan. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Yeah, something in the air tonight. Big fat Paulie's immune to viper venom.
Thank you guys for joining today. I just wanted to bring you today an image of what it means to me, this religion battle. This is unbelievable because of what is going on today, and because of what's going on in history, and we seem to deny that history has demonstrated that religion can become a battlefield for purge, constant purge. And we purge because we seem to have the answer. We always seem to have the answer until we don't. Alright, so today, thank you for joining for another session of Deep Dive. We're going to be diving deep into some Ammon Hillman. Some Ammon Hillman, not made by him, but from his clips. Someone took it out and they delivered a masterpiece in comedy and in terms of brilliance, in terms of being brief and concising all the information, the most important information that we must listen to. And when it comes to this whole theory, this whole interpretation of not only this text, but also when it comes to Ammon Hillman specifically, right? And this is why I want you to start listening to all this stuff, because I don't want you to think that I support Satan. I want to summon Satan, but that's what we're doing pretty much when it comes to religion, extreme religion. That's the language I want to use today, right? Thank you for coming, because it is a beautiful day today. It feels like a beautiful day, and it feels like we're going to be delivering the message today. The message is the following. We're going to be looking at this ancient text that we seem to have forgotten in history. And this man, Dr. Ammon Hillman, this strange individual, right? Let's say he's strange because that is true. That is true. And he is brilliant when it comes to general knowledge, history, this skill he has, which is ancient Greek, being able to read ancient Greek. And he has written books, several books, and he is capable of explaining how these beliefs, these religions, ancient beings, his gods, they kind of existed in the past. So this is just a quick introduction, right? Let's just see how he interprets ancient text, which he says comes from the Bible, and no one is willing to come and debate him, right? Just an exorcist, which we will talk about in the future. But of course, I think this video is entertaining at the same time as, of course, summarize the main message when it comes to Dr. Ammon Hillman. Let's try not to taint the words, and let's speak in between every now and then, not too much, but I'll try my best. Alright, so thank you again for coming. I'm gonna be doing this for the love of curiosity. Sorry, today has been a long day for me. Alright, let's try do this in the name of science, baby. And humor, of course. You're gonna have to have a good time, of course. Thank you for your time. Let's go.
Naughty. And this naughtiness, it must be purged.
Single person, and I've spent hours and hours with PhDs, who has ever taken the time to literally take a scalpel and dissect Ammon Hillman's videos. You being an avid Greek researcher,
meanings of music. Ammon does have a very specific.
Hi, I'm Bob Larson. Perhaps you know me as the Real Exorcist. Or maybe you've seen me on programs like Oprah, Larry King, Dr. Phil, that.
Don't spoil anything.
is this a point where I should bring up
Right, so we're not spoiling anything because I think you have to watch that. You have to watch the Antichrist Exorcist interview, the debate. That is going to be historic, and you have to watch it. That is why we're going to begin with this. I'm going to begin showing you the real humor behind all of this, because before we watch the interview, I want you to have the real mindset, the mindset that actually shows you that this is all debating actual facts, and belief is getting in the way, right? As always, I'm gonna be showing you different views because I don't want to be partial, right? Being biased, right? So, trying to bring you more views here, I think. Right, these people say that this man only reads Greek, cannot read Hebrew, all the things. He says that Greek is the original and Hebrew came after. Ancient Greek came first, and it's much, much older. Dr. Ammon Hillman says, and every scholar today says that this is not the consensus. This is not what people for centuries have agreed on, right? And this would be relevant when it comes to this theory, because we have to see the whole theory, because Hebrew is also part of this theory, because the theory says that we are only seeing part of the story that has been written, right? We're not seeing the whole Bible, and things are missing, right? And of course, Satan is God, God is Satan. Many of the things, drugs, many of the things that we must look at. And this is why today this video starts saying we're going to talk about money. Talks about how these people want to follow the main consensus. And thank you, Deep Web, for coming. We're going to try and deliver the best. Let's keep going with this video.
the fact that I actually spoke to Danny Jones about...
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Right, they're not talking, they're not debating. Right, just chatting.
Having me.
Of course, it's
Thank
my pleasure. My pleasure. We you caused a ruckus on that first podcast we did. I don't even know where to begin with this episode. The following guest, Dr. Hillman, has a master's degree in bacteriology, a master's degree in classics, as well as a PhD in classics, until he was eventually investigated by the Catholic Church for demon possession.
Demon
which led to
possession.
being ejected by his university. Now, although I did read his book, The Chemical Muse, before we recorded this podcast, it quickly became clear that I was not prepared for what was coming. And I'm still trying to process this conversation weeks after we recorded it. Due to the provocative and unsettling nature of this episode, it has been heavily censored with parts redacted. However, we posted the full uncensored version in its entirety on Patreon if you want it. You better buckle up, folks. Please hammer that subscribe button below and enjoy the show.
Right, so this is already starting in a way. He's suggesting this is too much. This is too much. and people can't handle this.
All right, Mr. Ammon Hillman, you are a quite the controversial figure when it comes to religion, classics, ancient texts. You're a linguist. You're a classicist. What is your official title?
Hail Satan, Danny. It's nice.
Right. We are starting with a Hail Satan. Right, this is the way to go when you want to cause an impression. You want to start causing a big impression, right? Because already his appearance is causing a big impression, right? You have to do something or say something that kind of balances with that appearance, and you have to kind of bring everything you can try to think of, and we have to try to understand that this man is not a theologist, right? He's not trying to do theology. He's trying to be not only funny but educational. And if you're an artist, you kind of creative, you have that skill. And he has written poetry. He reads poetry in Greek, and he has written poetry, right? And he talks about this all the time. So being kind of an artist, being creative, kind of explains all of this. I don't want to insult him or anything, but I'm just suggesting, look, Hail Satan, guys. We kind of look like he looks like he's supporting the devil or something. That's why with the candles and everything, the second interview was much more, of course. It's a show. It's a show, but you have to listen to it and you choose for yourself, right? But the numbers, the views, they say it all. First interview, 2 million for a second interview. Now, about 250,000 already in 2 weeks.
Nice to be here, by the way. Thank you so much.
Are you a Satanist?
Am I a Satanist? Oh, God. Those people bother me so much. I can't be a Satanist. I'm sorry.
They bother you.
Uh-huh.
What bothers you? What bothers you about them?
The whole religious side of things. Yeah, no. What am I?
Well, you are a religious scholar, right?
No, I'm a...
Right. I wanted to, of course, show you what this video has encapsulated here. And it is a matter of trying to understand what this man does, trying to understand how this man thinks, how he is trying to show you how we are doing all the things, right? Not just talking about God, not just talking about the Bible, right? The stuff there, right? I think you should have different opinions, right? And when it comes to this, right, if you're gonna be crazy, right, you might as well put on a show, right? But he's saying it straight away. We're not talking about Satan like in that sense, and religion gets in the way because religion is kind of telling you a different story, and you believe the devil, all this nonsense. All right, good way to start this show, all right, with some common sense.
A classicist. Religious scholars, no, we eat those for breakfast. Yeah, no, I'm a classicist.
Okay.
What I do is...
What is a classicist?
It's somebody who is a specialist in the translation of ancient Greek.
How's that tobacco?
Oh, God, it's wonderful. Hail Satan.
We've been trying to set up a proper debate.
Danny? Iron Danny, by the way. That's the name.
With you and a biblical scholar. And we can't get anyone to step in here and talk to you. I think people are afraid of not just what you're saying, but your performative behavior. I think really confuses and terrifies people.
Oh, God, I love it, don't you? Doesn't that make it special?
I think it makes it great. It makes it so much more fun.
We've got him on.
Right, and I just wanted to go back to his image of wearing the hat during the interview, just at the beginning on the interview. And this is a 2-hour interview where he reveals a little bit more than he says in his first interview with Danny Jones. And of course it's going viral. Of course it's going viral because of the show, because of everyone already talking about it. As we have already seen, everyone has already started criticizing, and this is only showing one thing, that these people prefer talking and chatting, making videos, making money, instead of actually doing research and actually coming and doing actual battles, actual fighting, right? Getting to the actual discussion so we can actually see who's right or who's wrong. They're not doing that. They're just chatting and insulting, right? And things are not really being said in a straight way. So we have coronated our satanic pope as a satanic congregation. Anyone who believes this man, if you watch his videos, Lady Babylon 666, you realize that this content should be banned, right? If you think Jesus is real, Jesus is the way, right? It should be banned, right? Shouldn't be happening on YouTube. Shouldn't be happening, right? But you see now that this really is just the beginning of something, the beginning of trying to understand things in new ways, in different ways, the beginning of people bringing new interpretations of the Bible, and the beginning of us questioning things are being given to us, because religion is given to us, and you expect religion to give you something, of course, because you're always expecting something. And I think this delivers, right? You're being educated, you get interesting stuff, and of course you're being entertained. And that's why we love it, right? Religion cannot do this. And that's why we can go so deep into this, and we can make so many videos about this, because there are so many things we can talk about. And this is just the beginning of a new cycle, in a way that not only people are starting their own religions, right, which is funny, right? It is funny, interesting, and we should be curious and excited too, right? If you believe in Jesus and all this, right? This is blasphemy. Right? This is crazy, right? The devil. Oh my God, the devil is taking over, right? And this is the apocalypse. The Antichrist coming, right? Dr. Ammon Hillman says the Antichrist, well, someone said it, that the Antichrist, his name is Ammon, and this man is Ammon. His name, birth name, was actually given as Ammon. Ammon the Antichrist. And we should be trying to understand what this means. Should be explaining pretty much why this is the beginning of a new era, a new age of understanding, a new age of belief, new age of doing things. And I think we should try to analyze this in the most serious and honest way, right? And yes, it is entertaining, but we need to deliver. Let's get to the delivering.
I think it makes it great. It makes it so much more fun.
We've got them on the run. Why do you think they run?
Like I said, I think they run because they don't know. I think they're terrified by the performative behavior that you put on. Yeah. You're theatrical in the way that you translate this stuff and the way that you teach this stuff on your YouTube channel. It's fun and it's cinematic and it's thought provoking.
Run, Bob, run. 9 women with divine voice. Yeah. And where else? The cliffs of Pieria, right? And Macedonia. And who are these women? So this is for you to wake you up. These are the founders of the ideas that brought you democracy. Do you understand? And they're not men. And the scholars, because they are lazy and never go to the texts, they write books so they can make money.
Right, and maybe that is the key. That is the key of all of this. Maybe not just the fact that this all has to somehow be fake if it is women, right? But it seems to be a way of understanding in my way of seeing things, right? If people were previously being driven by money, right? Everyone writing about the same story, the same narrative, driving the world. If you keep driving that narrative and talking about it, right, you realize that of course you make money because people are always thinking about it, chasing this, chasing that, right? And of course everyone's chasing money, and you realize all the books, everything's designed to make money from you. And in a sense we are biased, always biased, to be lied to in the society that we have created. And seriously, if democracy was created by women, wouldn't men be against that? Right? But the real question here is, with this, is are people actually not looking at this? Because I believe this is the time to change the world, right? And good ideas might be capable of changing the world. We have a few comments here. Thank you for coming today, Chuck Peck, son. Nice name. Thank you for coming, bro. 2025 is the first year of the ekpyrosis of the great Platonic year. Saturn returns from the exile. Saturn is the king of kings. For those of you who don't know, Saturn is Satan. Thank you for summoning Satan today. Talking about Satan, I love it. Satan, the real Saturn, right? He's the one who created music, right? And Saturn is the king of kings. Saturn is Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you're talking about the movie or a reference to something else. Saturn represents restriction and shock. Saturn also represents freedom. Ave Saturnus. Booyah. I like it. I like what you wrote there. I really like it. Thank you, Chuck Peck, Sam's son, for coming today. You have summoned Satan today. The real Saturn, the real Satan. Right? And that is beautiful. With these words, if you could elaborate on this pyrosis of the great Platonic year. Saturn returns from exile. What does it mean? Right? If you're still there, what does it mean? Because if you could teach us, right, we all want to learn about Satan. That is pretty good when it comes to having people who can teach you, right? What can you tell us? What can you tell us? This is the way. This is the way. I love it when people share stuff. All right. This is the first year of the ekpyrosis of the great Platonic year. Right? Look at this. The great Platonic year is the cosmic year. The time it takes the solar system to go around the galaxy. Right? Let me read that again. The great Platonic year is the cosmic year, the time it takes the solar system to go around the galaxy. So that's pretty big. That's pretty big. All right, that's a big cycle. All right, it's not like the Earth going around the sun 1 year, 365 days. No, that's a big cycle. The solar system traveling around the galaxy, around the whole galaxy. Right, a whole circle, right? As above, so below. I like that. I like that. Why are you suggesting that as above, in the skies, the planets, transferring these cycles down to Earth, they are affecting our behavior? Maybe are you suggesting this, that this above and this below, they're connected? Are you suggesting this? Because that is interesting. That is interesting. Thank you on YouTube, Chuck Peck, for coming. All religion is astrotheology. Astrotheology. I did not know that even Christianity has connections to astrotheology. Maybe the cycles of seasons, they were related to harvest seasons. Maybe that explains it all. What do you think? What do you think? Maybe religion's connected to food, of course, harvesting seasons. Right, this would make sense. It would make sense. But I want to know more about the great Platonic year. What is the ekpyrosis? Explain what the ekpyrosis of the great Platonic year is. The great Platonic year is the time that the solar system takes to travel around the galaxy. But the ekpyrosis, what is the ekpyrosis, right? Explain this, please. And as above, so below. And he says Saturn became Satan, right? The Satan we told about in the Bible, right? It's not the actual Satan, right? This is Satan, where we took Satan from, not the devil, but this is Saturn, the one who brought wisdom in the past to these people living there before Romans and all of this. Saturn was bringing inspiration and wisdom, and this was all connected to everything that Dr. Ammon Hillman is talking about. And this is, of course, very educational. I do appreciate having you, bro. I do appreciate that you are his source of wisdom today. You are our oracle today. Thank you. As above, so below. Saturn became Satan. Mars became the devil. Christianity Christianized the old pagan religion, right? All these gods were put together into one, pretty much, by the Romans in order to save themselves from falling as an empire. They created this new story, and this is how pretty much they tried. Well, they succeeded. They tried to create this story, new story, but brought from ancient stories, pretty much, right? And they've been taking away information from that book for years for some reason, but new information keeps coming out, so that has to mean something. Let me finish what this man is writing for us. The low, right? The low point of the great Platonic year, the ekpyrosis of the great Platonic year, the time it takes the solar system to travel to a whole cycle around the galaxy, right? We are in the low. He says we are in the low of that cycle, low point of the great Platonic year. The cataclysmus is the high point of the great Platonic year. The cataclysmus is the high point. Saturn and Mars are the malefics. Oh, I am from the satanic congregation, he says. Welcome. We are trying to deliver here also. So thank you for coming from the satanic congregation. I do hope that we can bring illumination, some light to more people, and I do appreciate you sharing this. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Amen. All right. The ekpyrosis is what the Christians call the millennium of the Antichrist. The ekpyrosis lasts 1,200 years. This is useful information. I like to have these maps in my mind when it comes to future predictions. So this kind of helps me kind of understand maybe the next few 100 and then 1,000 years. They're going to be huge when it comes to, it's a huge cycle, right? It's a huge cycle. 100 years is a huge economic cycle when it comes to civilizations in the past. But 1,000 years, that's another huge cycle. Let's see what happens in the next 1,000 years. We might see a lot of inspiration coming around the world. That's going to be huge. All right, that's going to be huge. Thank you, Satanic Congregation, from bringing all this information, bro. This is beautiful. I love it. This is being transmitted at the speed of light, just like the prophecies were saying in the Bible, bro. Isn't it beautiful? And the ekpyrosis was what the Christians call the millennium of the Antichrist. Explain about the Antichrist. Isn't it true that they said in the interview that the Antichrist was called Ammon? Explain what the Antichrist represents and why you think Ammon is the Antichrist. These are two questions. Please. I love it, bro. I love it when people can bring information, because I want to squeeze the information out of you, bro. I'm gonna get it. Give me everything you have on this. Come on. it will be the rise of the anti-Christian movement. Oh, this is beautiful, bro. This is beautiful way of summarizing it. I think you're right. I think you're right. Everything coming, like Christians like to say that this is not true. Science is not against religion, but by definition it is. By definition it is. And in a sense, many scientists were religious, right? And religion is a way of having rules in your life, a way of having interesting ways of ruling your life. That's religion. The third eye that Buddhists are talking about. That's kind of that part of your brain that you use to create these rules in your life, this way of rewarding yourself when you do things good, and you punish yourself when you think you're doing it wrong or you're not following those rules, right? And this is also expressed in the interview, right? He's masturbating and thinks Jesus is looking at him because Jesus is everywhere, right? Because if Jesus is everywhere, he's probably next to you when you're wanking, right? You're having a wank there, and Jesus is right there, right? That's pretty much why you shouldn't have those kind of beliefs. That kind of faith is bad for you because it stops you from enjoying life, bro. Why can't you have a wank? Right. I just want to think that religion should be good for you, and in this case, the ancient Greeks were inspired naturally from their religion, because their religion inspired naturally, and scientists and artists came out of this. That's beautiful. And huge inventions, right? Huge invention like music and medicine, right? And of course, we found this huge clock, a huge clock that might have been very important in the past, in the ocean, deep in the ocean, in the ship, and that was from ancient Greek times. That might have been from this civilization. So that was huge. We need to look at that also interesting technology from the past. The Antikythera mechanism, celestial clock. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for bringing up the name. I couldn't remember this, but this is from ancient Greek times. That's what they think, and I think it's connected. I don't know why, but it just came to me the other day. I think it's connected, and I have to connect all the things that I think are relevant, and I like to connect dots. That's what I like to do in life. I don't know why I like to connect dots. Let me just finish reading what this man is saying, because it's beautiful to have you here. It will be the rise of the anti-Christian movement. So I believe, yes, science is there to pretty much oppose everything that religion is imposing on us, and religion is getting kind of in the way, and we need to see the rise of everything that goes against that, because that's where inspiration could come from, right? That's the darkness where the light could come from, right? The darkness. Beautiful way to put it, right? And right, the Antichrist is the spirit of the age. Ammon is one aspect. I am another. We are part of the Watcher's hive mind. The Watcher's hive mind. That's another concept I like to bring here, bro, because that's also another way of explaining to people that this is like a hive mind. This is a way of, we have this consensus, this information that people are transferring through the ages, and we have this global consciousness. That's what the deep-minded people like to call the Christus, right? The Christus, right? That's what they call it. Even the Templars, they call it this, the Christos. That's what the global consciousness means. And maybe that's that, right? This global consciousness. I love it, bro. I love it. It sounds interesting. And this hive mind, this global spirit is changing. This tide is changing. And that's why we need to work in that darkness. Work in the darkness. That's where you bring the light. I love it, bro. Because I am an artist and I understand that artistic aspect of it all. We need to follow our heart sometimes, even if it goes against our brain, because sometimes that's where the inspiration, that light in the darkness, is coming from. At the end of the tunnel, there's always light. There's always light, right? And that's beautiful when you put it that way. I grew up super Christian. I know what Ammon went through, right? You're explaining, right, exactly what I felt, right? I recently started reading the Bible. I recently started trying to believe in God, and I found this information, and all of this is just messing with my head, bro. I have to explore all of this with more people, because this is the only way I can cope with this. This is the only way I can analyze it correctly. I can have fun. I can enjoy it to 100%. What this really should be represented, the way it should be represented. We can't really represent it unless we have Ammon right next to us. And even if we have Ammon right next to us, he's not going to be 100% honest with us, right? He's just going to be putting on the show, right? He wants to be like, hail Satan, right? Whatever, right? We love it, right? It's a good show. It's a good show. We love it, right? And we learn things, and that's good. But it's not a way to have a conversation. It's not a way to actually get to the real deep stuff, right? And we need to learn more. Maybe this bro, right? We all need a good dump show. We all need a good dump show, right? Yes, we need, but what we really need is to understand. And people always seek something, right? And that's what we need to go, bro. That's what we need to go. We need to go deep into the darkness. So thank you, bro. I like to share this stuff when I feel like that. But I want to understand this with other people. I want to see if we can understand kind of what this information means, because the world's changing, bro, and we need to see how this could be relevant. Some information around is relevant, some of it is not. Keep up the good fight, bro. The watchers are with you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let me finish this, because this beautiful video, bro. Dr. Ammon Hillman purchased the YouTube brothel. I don't know if you watch it, but let me finish it. All right. Thank you for talking about the Antichrist. We should be talking about this, learning about this beautiful information.
Those scholars don't even know. It's an ignorance of the text, man. We had to tell them about Christ, right? We had to tell them why, because nobody pays attention.
How many people do you think there are like Ruck and Ammon that can have read that much Greek?
Not a lot.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, unless they're like a professor in classics.
Right.
But people like Ammon and Ruck. Well, Ruck is a professor in classics, so
right.
But they just do it for the love of it. They love the ancient Greeks.
Yeah,
they do it because they love it. They're not for a job at translating random texts just to get paid. Like some academics do that, or become a teacher or something. They love it. They do it for the love of it, and I respect that a lot.
Going back to like how I started the conversation to explaining your performative way of teaching this stuff, it has inspired me to be fascinated in these things and continue to dive down this rabbit hole. And I've invited like half a dozen people on the show since to either corroborate what you're saying or shut down what you're saying, or at least show some sort of counter evidence or give me some more context to what you're saying, because there's nobody else that's saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can, or at least I can't find it.
Right. There wouldn't be.
So, and that's like a common thread on this show. Yeah. I will typically have people on here that will say something, right, that many people won't agree with, and then other people will reach out and say, hey, this guy's full of shit, let me come present my evidence, right?
Which is good.
Right? And that would be amazing if we could have a conversation. But it's impossible to have a conversation about something that goes against your faith. Right? And that's why it's so difficult, even for us, to comprehend how this thing really worked in the past. It's difficult for us to comprehend how this represents a change to our society, because it would take everyone, right? That's what it would take. It would take everyone probably for society to really start changing. Maybe just 50%. I don't know what the percent is, but it is necessary for people to start discussing things, right? That's what we see real progress. That's what we see real progress. And when we go away from that and we impose our will of others, we start seeing that we're going backwards. In many ways, we start seeing that we're going backwards for many different things, right? And I just wanted to stop this here and say what a brilliant fact is. The fact that I'm going to point out here, which is that Danny Jones is just creating this environment, beautiful environment, for this satanic initiation to happen, right? Well, we have these candles. I don't know if the candles are supposed to initiate some kind of portal. Maybe we're opening a portal with these candles. I don't know. But the music also opens portals. That's something we learned with Ammon Hillman, right? The music opens portals, right? That's beautiful, beautiful fact to learn there. And that's also something connected to Saturn. Saturn is also bringing a connection to this. So Satan also comes back to this in a sense. I wanted to show you that this inspiration is again light in the darkness. Maybe we have so many symbols here that we should be really trying to understand. We should be trying to transfer these symbols, because they represent something, and they put you in this kind of mind state. Maybe the candles are perfect for this mind state we need.
That's a gymnasium.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the ancient Greek gymnasium.
Correct.
It's wrestling.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, a lot of people made videos kind of like responding to what you were saying, like edited videos, calling out bullshit on you, saying that you messed up, you were lying, you were taking stuff out of context. Yet so people know, we quite literally reached out to, I don't know, Steve, what was it? 2-3 dozen scholars?
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot. We've got them on the run. It's their own text, just the Christ thing alone.
A few of them were from Harvard. A few of them classical philologists from Harvard. Theologians, biblical scholars. All of which
juicy
said they would not be comfortable to come debate you.
Let me tell you again.
Right, and that is understandable, right? What kind of scholar, what kind of academic, kind of expert, professional with with this serious job, what kind of guy would want to debate this kind of man? And that's exactly where we see the Antichrist movement starting. All right, maybe that's a sign that we need to read there. Right, the fact that people are not willing to discuss it might be enough for us to think there's something going on. Not just the fact that we're driven by money in society, right? Money is ruling us, right? That's what the video says, yes. But apart from the YouTube brother and everything in the academia, right? Of course, people want to write books and make money, of course. But that's what it started. Of course. I mean, it makes sense. But if it's for your appearance, maybe that's something else. Maybe we're judging people for their appearance, and we are stopping ourselves from reaching into that darkness that we are told to avoid in society. And really, that's what the darkness might bring you some light. Right? If you go into the darkness, you might find a beam of light that directs you exactly to where you should be going. And sometimes when you see this beam of light, you don't know what you're following, but eventually you get there. And I want you to see that today we learned a lot of good, interesting stuff. I got some more for you, of course, but I want to show you that today I have the key to understanding for you, right? The key to understanding Ammon Hillman, which is not looking at this from a God point of view, but looking at this from a society, historic, scientific, artistic point of view, right? This is all I can do, all I can explain with my words, but anthropologic point of view might be more interesting.
Again.
So I gotta keep rolling with this until I can find somebody.
Yes.
To prove you wrong.
We just want to talk about the Bible.
We just want to talk about the Bible.
You've got to bait them, Danny. You've got to bait them. Look, if this is going to work out as my place of feasting, you've got to bait these people better, right? They know. Here's the problem. What makes them afraid? What makes them afraid? It is that old reason that sits in our brain and tells us, I don't believe in fairy tales. I want some science. And they know that that's what a classical philologist does, is they work with the science of a language. And when you look at these texts, it's going to blow your whole mind of what you thought. People, can you imagine right now being one of these academics with your pants down around your ankles? Can you imagine this? This is the beginning.
Right.
Now, classical departments have been falling behind, and that's why it's particular to me. That's why you don't have hundreds of people coming up and say, "Oh my God, did you know Christ is a drug?"
Right.
Right? You don't have people doing that. So your guys at Harvard or Yale, those people are smart enough to know that I'm just talking text. And they can tell whether or not I'm a trained classical scholar, right? What you call a philologist. Is that dude a classical philologist? They can tell.
Right.
And unfortunately, the fakers and the phonies can tell as well. And that's why when you invite people and they don't come, it's because they're unable to.
The way I understand it is there's like the Bible and then there's Christianity that is like this veneer that people don't like to look through. They don't like to look past that. But behind that, there's a whole nother universe of history with all this other stuff from poetry to comedy to musical stuff to philosophy to medical texts, that is just like, once you can penetrate that veil of Christianity and the church, there's so much more to learn.
Yeah, you got it. Listen to that. You just cracked the ages. You know what I mean? Right? When you see through that Christian filter, and I don't want to say Christian, it's a monist filter, because people, the same thing happened to the Egyptians, like in the 14th century BC. They had a monism that came along, one God, and everybody's one God, and everybody else has to be ignored, and forget her, Lady Justice, and forget. And that was those were the followers of Aten, right? And anyway, whether it's Atonism or Christianity or Judaism or Islam, those are monist traditions, and monist traditions follow patterns in history. And if you can penetrate that monist lens and get back down to the classical civilization, you can explain what those very earliest Christians were doing, because their writings are at the same time. Here's the big problem, people. This is why the world is so screwy, and why the history that you think you know is not the accurate history. It's not the factual history, because you're looking through a lens of theology. You're looking through a lens, and it's distorting the way that you're perceiving the world. And the reason you're doing that is because the focus was narrowed to the biblical or Christian or monist texts. So outside of that world is an entire other world. It's what surrounds it and makes it operate like Christ. Jesus didn't show up and become the first Christ.
The first Christ was Lady Babylon.
Right, I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to give it away still yet. Right, but I think that is probably a very complex way of explaining the why. The really deep answer, the really answer. The real answer is that, like, why are people not willing to go against their beliefs? That is exactly why I think we should be looking at this. We should be looking at the things that people don't want to look at. And of course, there's a lot of support for this, and that is growing by the day, right? Millions at this point, right? I bet it's over 3 million, right? I don't know if some of those views might be counted as 2 or maybe 3 times what they should be, but I don't know. But I believe we are seeing the start of something. All right, if this man, like, let's assume that he's wrong. If this man is bringing to the table information, ancient information in Greek, ancient Greek, which are languages today 2,000 years after Greek was being used. Today, some of these complex words, we still use words from Greek. They come from Greek. And we need to understand that our world is not what it looks like, because we're only seeing 10%, only 1%, only a small percentage of what we should be doing, what we should be seeing, right? And we're only using a small percentage of our capacity, because limiting the possibilities means that only accepting what is given to us will limit our potential. And that is bad. Of course it's bad, we should be trying to go against that. We need to find more and increase our knowledge, and of course we need to be better. Always aim for the better, right? I think this is a good way to put it, right? I think this definition, this way of explaining things that Ammon has used, right? These words are pretty accurate, right? We can't see through the lens, the Christian lens, which means that it's hard, even for us right now looking at this, it's hard for us to change our beliefs. It's hard for us, but we need to learn new things. We need to understand our past. We need to understand our present and our future, of course. And this is why we need to sometimes choose what is useful, what should remain, and what shouldn't, right? What is useful and what isn't.
The first linguistic reference we've got to an historical person, the Queen of Babylon, the Medea, she is first portrayed as Christing herself. But when Jesus is there, 1,000 years later, when he's doing his thing, that word is going to be very important. It's history and everything about it. People, here's what I mean. Let me crack the lens a little bit for you. There are 5 words in Greek, ancient Greek. They're the most prominent words that you're going to hear in Christianity. And those 5 words are all drug terms. They're all drug terms. Are you ready? Christ, Savior, baptism, mystery. Gospel is the word that you use when a drug is given to a person. It's the drug's efficacy. The gospel is what brings you salvation. Salvation, right? And remember, there's no clear delineation between drug use and religion and medicine. Those are all part of the same world. This is why you have prophets. Anybody knows, and this is I'm going to rock the world with this. Are you ready? And people are going to be, how can he say that? Look at the text, people. The only thing that a prophet designates is somebody who sees visions via drugs.
And prophets were people who were bombed on drugs in antiquity.
Not just bombed, but, like integrated into their whole...
They were like shamans?
Repertoire, yeah, that you could touch their clothing and everybody knew you're going to get some kind of blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason, and people will say, Danny, you're being bamboozled.
Right.
Right?
Everyone's saying that.
How does this one guy come up with this thing that nobody else knows? You know why? Because I've read the medical literature. Right? The first time I saw it, it kind of excited me too. I was like, wait a minute, did that just say somebody Christed someone?
Right. This is a pretty interesting aspect also of Christianity, also the Greek texts, all this stuff, right? Let's ignore the fact that he's doing drugs on an interview, right? But let's ignore this, right? Let's assume that we just sitting down and discussing things, but we're learning many interesting things from this man. We should consider this, right? Let's give him extra points for being extra theatrical, for being extra informational, extra educational, extra useful when it comes to this, being a teacher, right? Which he's doing in his channel very well, very, very well, entertaining and educating at the same time. And I think that this is what we should be discussing, right? The word Christ, right? This is what he's fixating his interviews now on. And some of these words that we are seeing all the time, Christ this, Christ that, right? And this in Greek can mean many different things, but it always means things related to drugs, right? And let's just assume that he's making this up, right? All these words, Christ this, Christ that in Greek means drugs, right? If he's lying, what does Christ mean? What does it mean? Right? You tell me what it means, right? If we don't know ancient Greek, if no one knows ancient Greek, how come we can discuss this? No one knows this ancient Greek, right? You have to do your own work. Find out for yourself. If you find many references to Christ being used as a drug application, right, on a part of your body in different ways, you find this, then maybe, just maybe, all of this sex, drugs, and rock and roll rites, rituals in Christianity's past might have been all true. That's where Christianity came from, and everything's been changed. Maybe it's all true, right? Just maybe. Thank you guys for coming. I think it's a beautiful summary of pretty much an introduction to Ammon Hillman, right? Beautiful summary by this channel. 1,500 views so far this video. Make sure to watch it, right? Purge Dr. Ammon Hillman purchased the YouTube brothel. Thank you for watching, and I think we should continue in the future. We have more stuff to watch by Ammon Hillman, and I think Christ is something for another video, right? Because we have so many things on that. But of course, if he's been so specific, so detailed, right? These words are all related to drugs. He's detailing the 5 words, right? And he's telling you that Christ can be used as a verb. And before you only knew Jesus Christ, what does Christ mean? You're never told what Christ means, right? But what is Jesus Christ? Now, no, you know what the Christ means. You know what that could mean for Jesus then, right? But let's just think, right? How can you have Jesus Christ as a name, but also Christ this, Christ that, and Christ, right? Christ whatever, right? As a verb, like doing Christ, right? Using a Christ in a sense, in a verb, like in a phrase in Greek. Using a Christ, what does it mean? Right? It has to mean something. What does Christ mean? And why is it older than Jesus Christ? It's all very mysterious. And this is why we need to dive, research deep into this. Because if this is true, everyone's confused and everyone's being lied to, right? And this is what we need to understand the ancient text and why people have this way of thinking, this way of living, right? Because people, they will seek the lies that make them comfortable. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Let's finish up with this and just a little bit more.
Yeah. This beautiful thing that we have called ancient Greek, this mother who's so sexy. You have to really know what you're doing and have experience and training in the language and all of our evidence from antiquity. I wouldn't just sit here and make up stuff with you, Danny. I wouldn't. All of our evidence from antiquity, that's what I handle, and people are afraid of that. right? People are afraid of that. So good. That's why I'm going to show you today Jesus engaging in sexual, drug-induced cult with Mary. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
All right, we're going to stop right there. We're not going to show anything else. And I think today we've seen enough. I think it's enough for you to get an understanding of how things might not be what you thought. Time to change your ways, change the world, and maybe, just maybe, embrace Satan. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Today we learned who Satan was. Who was Satan in the past? Now we know. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think it's a beautiful way to finish all of this. If no one's willing to debate, I think it should be understandable that we should all learn what a Christ means. Right? And here we see that we have so many things to learn from this man. Maybe he's lying, maybe not. But I bet no one's ready to confront him after he defeated an exorcist. That's interesting. Right, let's just finish, because today I have to go. But beautiful session, guys. Thank you for delivering Satan today. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Have a good night. As always, don't forget to support if you want some more. And I had a really good session. I had a lot of fun, and I enjoyed learning about Satan. Right, thank you all who made this possible. Ammon Hillman, Teddy Bass, and our friend from Satanic Congregation. Thank you all for coming. Mr. Chuck Peck, Sam's son. It was an honor having you. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to be seeing you all on the next episodes. Don't forget to support if you want some more stuff. I've got lots of different content. Let's do this, guys. Satan is here to stay.
Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Big Bad Jimmy with the 2 sticks. I'm with the Cannabis Fumigation Company. Get the leaf blower. The girls know I'm Tony Corona, aka Peter Pandemic, with the needle craft Medea Pharmacia. Something in the air tonight. Salvation in the water of life. Purple juice smoothie, it's going down. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Pass it around. Snake venom in the potion pure. Pure uncut scorpion venom. Uncut, turn your volume up to 11. To the hill of terror. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Blackwater Hockaday, sending them to the big mother in the sky. On a trailhead full of zombified. Rhymes get spit like venomous snakes. Secrete poison out of their fangs. I'm with the crew, dancing to the bank. Vampires like blood and cook poisonous fangs. Today's organized religions are offspring of late Bronze Age Satanism. Vincent Pricino with the hot purple cape on. Magic carpet flying with the silver and gold rings. Briefcase full of amethysts, driving in the fast lane. Hail Satan. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. Snake venom in the potion pure. Something in the air tonight. Magic gift of frankincense and myrrh. Something in the air tonight. venom in the potion, girl. Something in the air tonight. Yeah, something in the air tonight. Big fat Paulie's immune to viper venom. The moonlight is just right. Crescent. Medea send you to heaven.